Hello everyone, welcome back to Boone Builds, where my goal is to inspire creativity among the fans of LEGO. A lot of people have been reaching out to me with questions about the latest episodes of LEGO Masters. I'm going to use this video to answer some of those questions. I've received some through Facebook, some through Instagram. I just want to let you know you can always reach out to me through the contact form on BooneBuilds.com, and I absolutely respond to all of those. You can comment on this video with your questions, and I'll do the best I can to reply. Here we go. Question number 1 comes from Joel F. How much time did you spend with other contestants while not filming, and what did you do with time off? So yeah, in the evenings when the day was over, we would oftentimes go grab a bite to eat with some of the other contestants. Mark and I would spend a lot of time with Mel and Jermaine. We spent quite a bit of time with Richard and Flynn and Samuel. You know, I remember spending time with Manny and spending time with Corey and Travis. So we had a lot of fun, usually just going out to eat or walking down to Goodwill or the store or you know, Target or something. And then on the weekends, we would often go to the nearest shopping mall and just like pop into the Lego store, and maybe we would buy a little something to take back to where we were staying and build a little bit, or we would just kind of hang out and see who we saw in the Lego store. So that was a lot of fun. We also, oh man, we spent a few weekends at Universal Studios, sometimes going into the park, but sometimes just walking around sort of their shopping area outside of the theme park. And we also went one day while we were down there, we went to Disneyland, and it was Mel's very first time at Disneyland. And so that was a lot of fun to watch him go on all these rides that I've been on over and over again, you know, at various times through my life. But that was a lot of fun. Leah E., did Amy and Jamie build during filming? You know, I didn't see them do a lot of building, but Jamie would do that thing where he would sort of like walk around and pick up pieces and kind of like do that like fidgety build thing, or just kind of like experimenting with little connections on pieces. And you know, I think for any Lego fan, we can't help but do that, right? You sort of walk up to a pile of Lego pieces and you just sort of start doing that. And I would see Jamie do that from time to time. Amy and Jamie, Brickmasters, Amy and Jamie both would, from time to time, you know, stand in front of a camera and do some sort of like tutorial or maybe a little mini build challenge. And so those little things were going on camera, but that's what I saw of the Brickmasters building with Lego. Juliana F. asks, how long did it take to film the whole season? It took almost 2 months. I was away from my family for almost 2 months. They were able to come down to the LA area twice during that time, you know, during weekends that I got to see them. So that was a lot of fun. Derek M. says, what is the hammer you use on the show? Where do you get one? So it's just sort of like a little, I think they're vinyl or rubber hammers. You can get them at harborfreight.com. You could walk into a Harbor Freight store if you have one near you, or you can order them on Amazon, and I will put a couple of links in the description of this video. Ben A. says, are you a fan of Terry Crews? I absolutely am a fan of Terry Crews. Yeah, my wife and I love to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so to us, Terry is the Sarge. But I also know that a lot of people recognize him from other things that he's famous for. But yeah, I think Terry Crews is hilarious. And then Loki E. said, what was it like meeting Terry Crews? I'd be intimidated at first because of how strong he is, but anyway, it was amazing. He, of all the people that visited Lego Masters, he was probably like the most genuinely excited to be there. He was very pleased to meet all of us. He loves Lego, but he builds sets. He's not he's not, you know, a custom creation builder. He's not a designer. So he had so much respect for us, and we had, you know, so much respect for him for the wonderful, hilarious, awesome work that he does. So it was really this like mutual kind of appreciation of each other, and he was very humble and really wonderful to meet. Stephen G says, at this point in the season, had you remembered where all necessary bricks were in storage? Seems like this would affect time management. Yeah, by this time in the season, we had the brick pit almost completely memorized. Every now and then, a few pieces, that we hadn't needed in previous challenges would pop up and we'd be like, oh my gosh, where is this? And then we'd have to go find it, and it would take some extra time. And yeah, going to the brick pit always felt like a waste of time. Obviously it wasn't, because you can't get the parts you need without going to the brick pit, but it always felt like a strain to be like, oh, I just need like one more of this piece, or like there's this spot where I just need like one of those. So then if you needed one of something, or if you needed some very small amount of something, I found myself thinking, okay, what am I also going to need next, so that I can make 2 trips instead of just one. And that's kind of how things became. But yeah, by this point in the season, we pretty well know the brick pit and where all the types of elements are. Brian M says, how much Lego did you bring with you? Did you buy much while in LA? I talked a little bit about going to the Lego store. We really didn't bring much Lego with us at all. I think we each brought one model to kind of like interact with during the very beginning, where in season, or in episode 1 and 2, where they are kind of giving each team's backstories, and there were those slow-mo shots where we're interacting with our teammates, or kind of manipulating something in a Lego city. We each had like a building that sort of represented something about our normal lives, and that's the only Lego we brought to Lego Masters with us. But some of us bought more than others while we were there. We would buy Lego sets at the Lego store, the local Lego store, or at Target, and we'd bring them back to where we were staying, and sometimes we would just build. We actually had a really fun, on Mark's birthday, we had a really fun build challenge where everyone got together in I think it was my bedroom, and I invited everyone, okay, come on down, we're gonna have a miniature build challenge. And I remember Mel was there, and Jermaine was there, and Tyler was there. Let's see who else. Samuel was there. I think Richard and Flynn showed up, and Mark was there. And we just had like these mini challenges, and we just dumped out a bunch of pieces on like my bed, and people were just like sitting on beds, like building for this like building challenge. It was really fun. Yeah, that was cool. Okay, sorry, I kind of got sidetracked on that one. But yeah, a lot of us had some amount of Lego to just have fun with or practice with, that we had in our rooms where we were staying. Donnie H says, what is your home Lego lair like? Pictures. Well, it's a huge mess most of the time, and I'll go ahead and invite you into it. So over here, this is like an Infinite White studio. I can't really show you that because there's something on there that I'm working on that isn't done yet, and it's sort of a secret. So the Infinite White is where I film, like reviews, sort of like camera top-down reviews, if I want to, do that kind of thing for YouTube or social media. Over here, I have a lot of like parts storage. Let me see if I can get that to focus. So there's some parts storage over there. I've got some of those little bins, little drawers that you pull out, and those have unique pieces in them. And then over here, I've got like a lot of element types sorted into those kind of shoebox size Sterilite containers. There's just some toys and Lego models on display up there. Over here is just some other stuff on display and stuff in storage. This is kind of like a workbench area over here that right now has a lot of what is this? It's a combination of mocks and sets that I just sort of like needed to get out of the way. But this was a build that I recently did on Beyond the Brick, and that's for like the Retro Spaceman, and so that's kind of sitting there. It's sort of in transition. I had a complete monorail loop there, and I had to pull some of it out for a recent convention. Over here, let's see, that is a couple of tables that since Bricks Cascade ended, that table has just sort of been like storage and stuff that's in flux. But what I want to do with that space very, very soon is I want to start building a... sorry, let me get it back on my face here. I want to start building something over there that I can like put down and like let it sit for some time. It doesn't want to focus on my face. There we go. See, once I start moving around with the DSLR, it's such a this is a shallow depth of field. So anyway, let me see. We got the light. You asked for it. I'm showing you as much as I can. This is my workbench right here, and I'll flip this around, and you can see like I've got parts of projects here. So the thing that's sitting over here, I'll end up moving back to right here, and I work on that here. This is another project that is just like a work in progress. I don't have anywhere else to put it right now, so it's sitting right there. But then the screens and the computer, this is like my live streaming area and the spot where I sit to edit videos. So, you know, my video workstation and my tabletop for like active build space, it's kind of all in the same area. And then over there, I've got just like a collection of interesting things on the wall. There's a washing machine and a laundry, washer and dryer over there. That's where we do our laundry. And then up there, there's like some Lego set storage. I have some of the Bricklink ADP sets up there. Okay, the place is a real mess. I apologize for that, but you know what? We're just getting real here. So let's see if we can get. There we go. There I am. All right. So there you go. That's my home Lego lair, and sometimes it's really clean. Most of the time, it is as big a mess as you see it right now. But that it is what it is. I think a lot of us, you know, just work in various spaces. Some people messier than others. Let's see. Brian B says, I was hoping you'd build a pepperoni shooter. Yeah, we actually had that idea. We had the idea of doing a pizza shooter with the 2x2 round printed tile pizzas. And it was one of those things where we just, you know, it comes down to, we've got this list of priorities, we've got this list of ideas. For every challenge was this way, right? You sort of start out with this big idea, then as you get building, you make these small lists of ideas, and we go from there. And the whole time is running out, and eventually you have to start prioritizing your list of ideas and making sacrifices. What do we absolutely have to do? What are some things that we can lose and save time? And so the pizza shooter was one of the things that unfortunately got axed from our plan in that challenge. But it's an awesome idea. It's certainly, we could have done it, and it would have been fun. Let's see. Michaela D says, which challenge has been your favorite so far and why? Loved the bridge challenge. I thought that Good versus Evil, the challenge we just had, the challenge we just saw on TV, was probably the funnest episode to watch so far. I think probably my favorite challenge was the Mega City build when we built the Pops Food Cart Tower, and I really liked what we came up with during that challenge, and it was a fun challenge, and I liked watching the episode back. So that's probably my favorite challenge. All right. Michelle R says, what was the biggest challenge during filming? The biggest challenge, hands down, was the clock. You know, it's the biggest difference between building for something like Lego Masters and building for fun at home. You know, here I can take as long as I want to build something. If if I want to build something for a convention, I can start 3 months before the convention, or I can start a week before the convention, or whatever. You know, I can just come out here. I can tinker a little bit. When I'm tired, I can go back into the house. And so that clock running down was the number one biggest challenge in the whole competition. Yeah. Jesse A says, what is it like being Terry Crews's dad? Yeah, that whole interaction was so weird. I didn't get it at first. He was like, I'm your son. What did he say? Because he was like, you don't need your family. And I think that's when I said, like, I need them later. And he said, I'll be your son. And it just became this whole weird thing, and we were just dying laughing about it, and it's funny. So I'll just probably always joke about being Terry Crews' dad. Yeah, anyway, fun stuff. Jesse A also asks, why do your builds end up having food going crazy and attacking people? I don't know. It's just, we did food carts, so then it made sense to have the attack be food. And then we picked Pizza Guy, and so it made sense that something about our, villain would have something to do with the pizza. And I don't know how we came up with, like, how is this... Part of the challenge in Good versus Evil was you have one minifigure, but you have to somehow visually show how you're extending the power of that minifigure, throughout the build to show the superpowers, right? So I think, the way Jessica did that was with the bubbles, right? Jessica and Sam, and we helped them with the bubbles from the Bubble Man. Those could spread out and go anywhere, and you would understand that's part of the bubble guy's, the bath guy's superpower. Well, ours, we had the panda guy and the pizza guy, and it clicked. Like, what if we have a pizza oven where he's putting pizzas in one side and the pizzas are coming out the other side as like these pizza monsters? And so that's how it happened. I think we've had 8 challenges so far, and 2 of our challenges have resulted in pizza, or I'm sorry, 2 of our challenges have resulted in food coming alive and terrorizing people. I don't know what to say about it. I like food, whatever. Susie P, do your hands hurt after so many hours using Lego? Yeah, they certainly did, and we would just like rest them when we didn't have to use them. Sometimes it would be like going back to the break room, or going home to our rooms and just sort of be like, okay, I'm done. I don't have to use my hands, or we'd keep them like moisturized and stuff like that. But okay. Kathy C says, is it hard to go back to your own stash of Lego after the seemingly unlimited amount from Lego Master? It really is. And it's not so much the sheer quantity, the overall quantity, but it is the quantities of each item that is so different from building on Lego Masters to building at home. If I'm at home and I'm building something out of my imagination, I often could go to a lot of different types of pieces to accomplish the same thing. But on Lego Masters, I learned to trust that there would be enough of that thing to use as many as I possibly needed. I just had to go back to the brick pit and get more. But at home, it can be very limiting to, like, having built for several weeks, almost 2 months, with sort of like that. It does seem like an endless supply of bricks, and particularly if you're building something huge and you land on, like, I know I need 1x4 blue bricks, and the thing I'm building is going to need hundreds or thousands of 1x4 blue bricks. Like, they're going to be there, and I'm going to be able to go and keep getting more. And that doesn't happen here at home. And it is challenging. It's been challenging. But that's where you kind of start to improvise, and you say, okay, well, how would I do this? Because I don't have an unlimited supply at home, or do I have long enough to wait for Bricklink orders, or to go to Bricks and Minifigs or the Lego store and pick off the Pick-a-Brick wall, depending on what I need. But anyway, yeah, it's very, very different. Fergus P says, if the bear and pizza guy had been on the good side, what would you have done differently? I don't have a real solid idea about what we would have done differently, but one thing that sticks out in my mind is the Brickmasters talking about, how do you take something as lovable as a rainbow bear and pizza, the pizza guy, most people love pizza. How do you take those and keep their color schemes, because they're also brightly colored figures, but how do you inject just a little bit of darkness, just a little bit of evil in there? We ended up doing that with, you know, kind of the angry eyes and the teeth, and I used a bit more black in like the big panda bear mech that was walking around. There was like, you know, black kind of like flared collar sort of thing. I thought that is kind of something that I identify with, you know, being sinister, you know, among evil characters, and sort of these like black eyebrows that turned down like this and sort of went up out to the side. And so, you know, we had to think those things through. Like, how do we make these cute characters seem like they're a little bit evil, right? And so if they had actually been heroes, we would have been thinking the complete opposite direction. Like, what do we do with these guys? They've got bright colors. How do we run with that? And what are the icons and sort of the elements that we can introduce into the story that make them feel like heroes? And that's what we would have been doing. So there's your answer, Fergus. Ked W, if there's a season 2, what would you say to someone who wanted to apply? I would say practice. I would say time yourself. Start timing yourself when you build. Just give yourself some challenges that you have to get done in 3 hours, or that you have to get done, you know, in 1 day or something like that, right? So that you can get accustomed to building to the clock, because it's just wild. It's so unlike anything, you know, I've ever done before. I mean, I go to Lego fan conventions, and if you do like the master build or you do the freestyle build, generally that's like in an hour time frame, but you know, people are usually building something much smaller, right? Than we had to build on Lego Masters, which was some number of hours. So just give yourself that challenge. It's crazy. It's completely unlike building at home or building for yourself or building towards some event that's coming out, you know, or a deadline. But having just like some set number of hours, it's wild. Yeah. So practice and have fun with it. You know, if application's open for season 2, find someone you just love spending time with and trust when you build together and apply with them. So that's my recommendation there. Thank you all so much for watching us on Lego Masters, and thank you for supporting me here at Boone Builds on YouTube. You can reach out to me at any time at BooneBuilds.com. You can subscribe here if you want to get notifications. Click that bell icon and you'll find out when I release new videos here on YouTube. Until next time, build on.